Welcome back, guys. I'm Danny the Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to draw the Spinosaurus from Jurassic World Evolution. So yeah, here's our reference image. And yeah, today is day 12 of our dinosaur drawing marathon. So yeah, go ahead and get out your paper, pencil, and eraser, and we will get started. So guys, as usual, we're going to kick off our drawing with the outline. So we're going to put in an oval, a very squashed oval, in the left side of our page. This is going to represent the Spinosaurus' head. Then we're going to sort of have like a backwards S shape for the neck, a large oval for the body, and yeah, we can go ahead and put in a little bit of an outline for the sail there. And remember guys, this is not an accurate Spinosaurus by any means. It's simply the Spinosaurus from Jurassic World Evolution, so don't be put off if it's not like the new scientific version of Spinosaurus. So right now I'm putting in the joints of the leg. In Jurassic World Evolution there is grass, thankfully, so we're going to put some of that in. Spinosaurus is going to have very long front limbs, so we're going to go put those in. They're barely hanging above the ground. And this foot is, or this leg is going to be lifted up, and we're going to be able to see the foot. So I want to be able to fit the whole tail in the drawing, so that's pretty good. Let me just flesh out the neck a little bit more. Tail looks pretty proportionate, and I want to separate the upper and lower jaws a little bit. So I think this looks like a pretty complete outline. I think that we can move on to the next stage of our drawing. So we're going to be working from left to right, which means we're going to start off with the head. It's got a very crocodilian-like head, so if you watched my video yesterday on how to draw baryonyx, that would be extremely helpful when we're drawing Spinosaurus today. So yeah, very, very crocodilian-like snout. It's got this unique curve in the snout where it curves up and then back down again. I'm going to just erase some of the lines we don't need anymore of the outline. So it's going to have like it's going to be quite wide at the front of the snout there, like a crocodile. And then the snout's going to get thinner and then gradually get a little taller. And here's where we're going to have the brow ridge. It's going to have this little like ornamentation in between its brow ridges. It's got like a little crest there. I'm going to put in the eye. I want to have the eye facing forward like so. I'm putting in some eyelids and a little bit of shading. And the ear is going to be right back here. And let's put in the nostril, which will be on the top of the snout, which would indicate that Spinosaurus was probably an aquatic creature, or at least spent a lot of time in the water, because it would be very helpful to have the nostril on the top of the head. So I'm just going to add some curvy vertical lines to add more refinement and, yeah, just to give more shape to the drawing. So we'll come back later and add shading and possibly some scales. But let's move on to the bottom jaw. So yeah, the bottom jaw is going to be very long and quite thin. It's going to start off kind of thick, it's going to thin out and gradually get thicker as it gets closer to the back there. So take your eraser, whether it's on the back of your pencil or a handheld eraser, and just erase all these messy lines that we don't need anymore. Now we can add in the crocodilian-like teeth. It's going to have very long teeth on the front of the snout. Then they get a tiny bit smaller, and then again begin to get larger. And then they fade back as we get closer to the back of the jaws. And here we're going to have that muscle that opens and closes the jaw. Now the bottom teeth are all pretty much around the same size, but they also get a little smaller as you get closer to the back there. We're going to have a little bit of the tongue showing, so go ahead and put that in. And possibly some of the teeth on the other side. So I'm just going to draw in between these teeth to show the other side of the jaw. And then we will put in these teeth, which we will shade in. So there's a contrast between those teeth and the front row. So that looks pretty good. Have some more lines coming from the lips on the bottom jaw. And again, we'll add shading and other stuff later. Okay, so the neck, at least in the Jurassic World version, Jurassic World Evolution version, the Spinosaurus has a very short neck, or shorter neck compared to a realistic Spinosaurus. But this still is pretty long. I think I might have drawn it a little longer than the reference image, but that's okay. It means it's more accurate. I'm going to add some veins on the bottom half of the neck. It's got some like armored plates on the very top of the neck. So again, I'm going to clean that up and add these plates that overlap. Like so. And of course we'll add some more like stripes and scales later on in the video. So now let's move on to the shoulder. We're going to have a very large shoulder cap because Spinosaurus had very large arms. So naturally it's going to have a strong front there. Because people now think Spinosaurus spent a lot of its time walking on all fours, even though it could stand upright on its back feet. Well, not upright, but it could stand up on its back feet. So in this picture, the Spinosaurus has its claws tucked back, or I should say its fingers. Fingers and claws. See, it's got them like folded. You can see a little bit of the other arm. This one also has the hands folded. Looks a little funny, but that's what it looks like in the reference image. And next we can, continue on with the torso. It's going to have a slight curve to the belly there. It's going to have this vein that continues, the same one that came from the neck. And then the back is going to arch up. It's going to have a high arching spine. And from that spine, the sail will protrude. And before I put the sail in, I want to put in these little lines. They're basically like the different masts of the Spinosaurus sail. And for each one we'll have a little bump, a little peak there. So I'd say this is more like the old-fashioned version of the Spinosaurus sail. Looks like the new National Geographic illustrations look much different than this. Yeah, this is what the one from Jurassic World looks like, or Jurassic Park I should say, and Jurassic World Evolution. And this is going to have a very fun pattern. But again, we'll put that in later in our drawing. And now we can continue on these plates. They continue and they get larger. And they split into two rows, it looks like. And don't make them all looking identical because you want this to look organic. I'm going to continue on the second row here. They're basically just like squarish rectangles. nothing hard about drawing them. And they sort of fade right here above the thigh. So for the thigh, I want to put in this wrinkle right away. It's going to have a thick thigh. The legs of Spinosaurus are kind of short. Put in the knee. It's going to have a large calf. Yeah, the lower portion of the leg is going to be quite thick. And we've got the ankle here, and we're going to draw some grass because all the creatures in Jurassic World Evolution are standing in grass. So I'll put that in, and I might be covering a little bit of the hands. But yeah, we'll put some more detail into our grass later on in the drawing. And now we can put in the opposite ankle. Maybe I'll thicken that up a bit. And this foot is lifted up because Spinosaurus is on the move in this picture. So we'll start off by putting in the dew claw, which is that little claw that's basically useless because it doesn't ever touch the ground. And it's going to have its toes slightly bent. And right away I'm going to add the scales that are on top of each toe. Like so. And of course this will be shaded in. Okay, so the last part of this second stage of our drawing is going to be putting in the tail. So the tail is going to be not too long because it's, let me just move the camera over a bit. There we go. Tail's not going to be too long because we want it to end on the page. We want it to end on the page, not off the page. And we'll continue this vein that acts as a midline for the tail there. And also clean up a bit with your eraser. So yeah, stage 2 is completed. So next stage we're going to be adding in like some of the stripes, some basic scales, and shading. So the basic scales we're going to put on the face are just going to be like a row on the very edge here on the lip of the upper jaw and the lower jaw, but okay, let's do the upper jaw first. Let's line that with scales like so. And yeah, we're going to put some scales also on the brow ridge here, or eye ridge I should say. So that's pretty good. And of course I would highly recommend you just cover the entire face with scales like we did with our baryonyx drawing yesterday, but I don't have enough time to do that today, so I'm just going to be putting in the basics of scales. And sometimes you don't need to cover the whole face with scales. You can just put in you can scatter them throughout the face to like make it look like the whole thing is covered in scales, so you give people like the impression that this is a scaly animal. So yeah, let's put in some shading in this first cavity, the largest cavity. I'm going to add a few wrinkles to the eye. Some more wrinkles for that cavity there. And I'm also going to add some wrinkles, or not wrinkles, some shading to the bottom third of the bottom jaw. So I'm going to be using the crosshatch method, which is just taking your pencil in 2 different directions so the strokes overlap. And you get a nice shading effect there. It's especially nice when you're using like a fine tipped pencil like this mechanical pencil. So again, I'm going to do the edge of the bottom jaw with scales there. And I think that's pretty good. It's kind of simple, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Of course, adding more scales will make it look much more professional. Okay, so now we're going to add some more shading to the whole bottom half of the neck here. I do have my smudger with me today, so I may be using that. And a smudger is just something like that you can use to help you with shading, and I'll bring it out later. But that's going to help a lot for many of these areas. They'll look too rough right now. Okay, so for the neck, for the top of the neck, we want to have these curved lines just to give it more shape and just some more detail in general. So let's move on to the shoulder. For the shoulder, I'll add a few patches of scales. That looks pretty good. And for the arm, we just want to add some more shading to the bottom there. I'm going to try and do the whole drawing without bringing out a shading pencil, just so you guys know. In case you're wondering why I'm not getting out my shading pencils yet. So the opposite arm is going to be heavily shaded. So we want to color that one in almost completely. And let's see, on the inside of the hand is also going to be shaded in nicely. So like so. Let's add some color to the bottom of the belly here. And also to the bottom part of this foot and ankle. Looking good, looking good. Just want to make the belly look a little bit rounder. So we'll do that just by putting in some more lines. And then now we can move on to the sail. So the sail is going to have a very cool pattern. It's got like some mountain peak pattern going on there. So put those in. And yeah, make it look organic, don't make it look completely perfect. So I'm just making a lot of short round strokes with my pencil at this point. But if you have a shading pencil, be sure to use that at this point. That looks very, very nice. And then there's going to be like some spiky patterns underneath that mountain range we just put in. And I think I'm going to make the sail continue a little further back than I had first intended. So something like that will look a little bit better to help center this pattern we just put in. Then after that, yeah, we're going to have some blobs here in between each of these spikes. They're basically just circles. Nothing special about it. And yeah, for the very tip, or yeah, for the very top of the sail, we're also going to put in some more color. So the sail, people have lots of different ideas of what the Spinosaurus sail is used for. Some think it was meant to make the dinosaur look bigger and like to scare off enemies or yeah, other attacking Spinosauruses. Or maybe it was used during mating season to like impress the girls with all its color and stuff like that. Or it possibly could have been used to help steer it through the water. Or had some purpose. Well, some purpose in the water with the sail. Probably didn't use it to actually like move, like sail like a sailboat, you know. I'm just thinking it probably didn't do that, but who knows. So I'm really putting in these lines. And for each one we can add a little bit of shading to each section there. So make each section look a little thicker, you know, so the sail doesn't look like it's just like paper thin. So I'm liking how it looks. It looks really nice. I'm going to continue these plates on the top of the tail here. But these will fade and disappear eventually. So let's add a line here in the middle of the thigh. I'm going to put in some more lines here. More wrinkles, basically. And of course, just sprinkle scales all over your drawing. But after we smudge it, you guys will see that it's going to look much nicer than it currently looks. But if you have the time on your hands, be sure to add scales. It's going to turn out much better than this drawing for sure, if you do that. So yeah, for the bottom half of the tail is going to be a little darker and have some more color than the top. So we'll go ahead and do a bunch of long strokes with our pencils. And yeah, just add some basic wrinkles to the top of the tail. Like so. So yeah guys, I'm gonna go get my smudger so we can make these lines look a little smoother than they currently look. So I'm back with my smudger and ready to put it to work. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just make the whole bottom jaw a little darker and have a little bit more color. For these cavities, I'm gonna add some more shading. Just gonna add more color to the face there in general. The whole bottom half of the neck, I'm just gonna smudge it in completely. This arm cross-hatching looked a little rough, so I'm gonna smooth that out. Maybe add some more shape to the shoulder blade there. And of course we're going to add some roundness to the belly. And shade each segment here of the sail. So if you guys don't have a smudger, just use your finger. It'll work pretty much as good, except you're just going to get your finger kind of messy. So if you have a smudger, definitely put it to work. It's a very, very useful tool. But you have to have a decent amount of graphite on your page before you can actually start like smudging in. So if you just did like the outline of a Spinosaurus, like did the outline of the drawing, and then try to use your smudger, it wouldn't really work that well. Yeah, the smudger works well once there's already a lot of graphite down the paper, especially if it's like shading pencil graphite. So if I put in a little bit of shading pencil graphite right here, I can collect it up with the smudger and it'll give us a nice darker tone. Yeah, I think our Spinosaurus drawing looks basically completed. I'm going to put in a little bit more detail into the grass here. So the grass is saving us from drawing the opposite foot, which is nice. Or I should say the closer foot there, but it's also hiding the tips of the toes of that opposite foot. See, the grass adds a nice effect. It'll make your drawings stand out from the other ones we've drawn. So now I'm going to sign my drawing and clean it up with the eraser so you guys can see the final image, which is going to look really great. And yeah, if you've not already subscribed to my channel, please do so now. Leave this video a like if you enjoyed it, and comment below on what you think I should draw next. So yeah guys, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow, and I think that'll be episode 13. So see you guys then.